Hey loonies, Ben the Looney here. It's no secret, we artists are weird people. We spend a lot of time by ourselves, shutting out the outside world, left to our own devices and workspace to satisfy our needs to be creative. We come up with very surreal and sometimes shocking material meant to spark debates or just be enjoyed as entertainment, and maybe a little mix of both. This has led to many artists' personal lives to be assumed by the public based on their work, whether they be fine artists, animators, film directors, and of course, a crap ton of musicians. And I think it's time to shed a light on the reality that the artists you judge might not be as scary as you picture them being. I was inspired to make this when I stumbled upon a video of the internet loot artist Shadman doing one of his streams, and some guy named Colossal comes in reaming Shad's ass about the dang drawing of Keemstar's daughter that he did. I don't want to get into that controversy as I've already addressed it, but this quote that Colossal said really hit you like a brick.
You seem like a really down-to-earth person, and I'm genuinely surprised. You seem like a really down-to-earth person, and I'm genuinely surprised. You seem like a really down-to-earth person, and I'm genuinely surprised.
Dang. Yeah, Shadman's only a guy who makes drawings that are made to be shocking. Guess he's some kind of mentally insane person then, huh? Oh, he's actually a respectable guy just doing something he loves and making a career out of it? Oops, my bad. Like Shadman, I know what it feels like to be judged based on what I create. It's caused me to think long and hard about this issue. Are people so shocked by art that they assume that those who create are just as messed up as what they create? I'm not gonna act like there isn't a lot of art out there that's shocking and controversial, but I just like to plead my case that it doesn't mean the people behind that kind of content are they themselves bad people. I guess we should start out by being clear of what it means to create art. It's true that art is an expression of an artist's feelings, meant to either entertain those who agree with those feelings or shock those who disagree. Art causes a stir in the same way some people saying something you don't agree with might cause you to turn your head. There's no doubt that the art a person makes is in one way or another inspired by the teeniest amount of emotions or feelings they have. And artists might touch upon subjects that make people uncomfortable. But that's one of the reasons we need art. We need to be reminded of those uncomfortable subjects. Social stigmas need to be challenged, and people need to be offended. Offended in a way that inspires people to think, when they begin to question their own morals and standards. Not just offensive for the sake of being offensive. However, when it comes to the people behind that art, I think it's important to stress that the subject matters that the people create aren't always representative of how they are personally. Quentin Tarantino has been accused of being racist for his frequent use of the N-word in his movies, when he's actually one of the most tolerant people you can meet. He's even attended a few Black Lives Matter rallies. He was inspired by a lot of blaxploitation films growing up, and he tries to match that style when he creates his own works. He's also been criticized for glorifying violence in his movies and labeled as a violent individual, when in reality, he's actually outspoken against violence and uses his movies to show people just how much of a problem it is in our society, while making it entertaining for audiences at the same time. The music group Kiss, innovators of hard rock, were a frequent target of angry parents and Christian groups in their heyday, with their band name being interpreted as Knights in Satan's Service. In actuality, the two founding members, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, are Jewish and very dedicated to their religion. Hell, Simmons himself was born in Israel. How much holier can you get? You called that one mothers. And need I bring up Marilyn Manson, the man who supposedly inspired Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold to do the Columbine shooting? Under all that makeup, he's a well-spoken, intelligent gentleman who stands up whenever women enter the room he's in. Real son of Satan, isn't he? It's true, there are some artists out there that turned out to be crazy and did some horrible things, Charles Manson being an example, but they're the exception, not the rule. And even artists I'm close friends with who draw questionable stuff are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. Never would they even think of doing or encouraging any of the sick ideas they might put into their artwork. So if it's pretty easy to see that artists are pretty respectable in real life, why do they get so much flack for the content they make? My theory is that no matter what, somebody's going to be offended by something. And, because I can't argue with a drawing on paper, or a cartoon, or a song, they gotta go to the person who created that media and give them a piece of their mind. Most artists can't be bothered and just ignore the hate, causing people to assume they really are sick individuals. Others try to reason and explain themselves, but it only makes the problem worse most of the time. People are going to be offended no matter what, and it's fine to have opinions. But must you assume artists are nasty people who deserve to be locked up just because they create stuff you don't like? Going back to what I said earlier, we artists have a unique way of looking at the world around us, and we have our own dark, twisted fantasies in our heads that we express in our own ways. That's the extent our imagination goes. We never would even think of taking the stuff we create into real life. Art is meant to be taken to levels where real life is limited. And if the art we create didn't take risks, we'd just be creating media related to reality like brushing our teeth or going to work. That ain't fun. That's the kind of crap that makes reality boring. We have standards and social stigmas that are there to remind us that there's a reason certain actions are wrong on moral and legal grounds. But that doesn't mean we still can't have fun exploring all the nasty stuff our mothers warned us about. Violence, sex, nudity, drugs, it's all gained to me in the realms of the pen and paper. One day I might draw myself getting violated by a lion, but I sure as hell ain't attracted to animals. One day I might create artwork that has rape and physical abuse in them, but I'm against both of those said things when it comes to real life. Incest is always fun to draw, and I find it cute when it comes to cartoon characters, but I'm sure as hell disgusted by it in real life. When I feature these subject matters in my drawings, it doesn't mean I support them or involve myself in such activities. It just means that I like to touch upon subject matters that other artists might stay away from. And because the pen and paper can't hurt anybody, we as artists can get away with that kind of thing. Why not just make the same family-friendly, squeaky clean stuff that everybody else makes? Because, for some of us, that just doesn't cut it. It's always fun to challenge ourselves to reach above our low-hanging fruit and really push what we are comfortable with. So, why do we create stuff in our art that's illegal and morally wrong if we were to do it in real life? I think Quentin Tarantino said it best.
Why the need for so much gruesome, graphic violence? Why not let us imagine
Because it's so much fun, Jan. Get it?
Oh, really? Okay, I'd like to see you walk down the street and get attacked by some kids who've just seen your movie.
But see, Jan, you're all messed up because you're talking about real life.
Oh,
and I'm
I see.
talking
And kids
about
at
the
12,
movies. You got to
kids
get
at
it straight.
12.
Now, if you want to talk about the movies, we'll talk about the movies.
Okay, and
if you
kids
want to
at
talk about
12
real life,
can tell
we'll
the
talk about real
difference.
life.
At the end of the day, controversial content will always be created, and artists will always be called out or judged for what they create. But keep in mind that artists are people. They might have a few screws loose and think crazy ideas, but they're people nonetheless. It's time they be treated as such. So, next time you stumble upon an art piece that's very shocking and offends you, instead of going on a tirade asking for the artist's head on a platter, try talking to that said artist. You might learn something about them and get to know who they are as a person, and you'll wonder why you were ever worried about them in the first place. Have you guys ever been judged for anything you created, or anything you've been interested in? Or how about the opposite? Have you ever done the judging? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay loony, my friends.